Thank you all very much. That was terrific. The next panel is going to have a more DoD focus. But before we get into that, we have another sponsor we want to chat about, Pure Storage. I'm going to invite Nick Psaki. Yep. Nick, welcome. You could take that microphone. If it doesn't work, we'll just
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, great. Nick is a technical guy. He is a senior engineer over at Pure Storage. And we had the pleasure of chatting not only upstairs, but on the phone recently. And it was fascinating. Nick, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Right. You described data as 4 V's. Do you remember what they were?
Volume, velocity, variety, and veracity.
Right.
4 V's of data.
And how would you characterize those, the essence of data and what's going on in government right now?
Well, so one of the things that I get a chuckle out of, and I always have, is the concept of big data. And as when I worked in the Pentagon and the G2 as the Intel Information Architect, people would come and talk to us, and they were all about, new big data analytics capabilities, et cetera. And I sat there and I said to somebody once, the U.S. government has 5.5 million people, 311 million constituents. All data is big data at federal government scale. The challenge is, as was said before, the hamstringing effect is how fast can we move the data? And one of the terrific things that has happened over the last 30 years is we've had the concept of artificial intelligence, the concept of large capacity networks that are sort of almost ubiquitous, at least for the purposes of metropolitan regions they are. We've had an explosion in the quantities and types of data that are generally created on a daily basis, whether that's still frame pictures, video, audio, text, machine data, etc. We've had tremendous advances in compute. We've seen CPUs have become multi-core, and then they become massively multi-core in the case of GPUs. So we have this tremendous confluence of computing capability. So we have fast networks, we have hugely powerful processing systems that fit literally in your pocket. What we have not had an advance in until recently is storage. So we are overrun with data.
So storage has to maintain a speed
Exactly.
in order to be utilized in AI.
Right, and artificial intelligence platforms are particularly affected by how fast we can educate them. And that's really directly driven by how fast can we serve them data. So we have an avalanche of data, and the problem is we almost can't, it's like trying to read the Encyclopedia Britannica. You start at page 1, and you're 60 by the time you get to the end of the volumes. But everything before that has now changed.
You mentioned a term I thought was very interesting when we chatted. You had said that if you're using more traditionally termed storage, disk storage or something, tell me what you.
All right. So if you are lashing up a high-performance artificial intelligence platform with the latest generation NVIDIA V100s, you've got huge quantities of RAM, you've got 100 gig networking, and you attach it to a 300 gigabyte hard drive, you have effectively given your AI a critical learning disability.
It's just not going to keep pace.
It's not going to keep pace. It's like having dyslexia.
Yeah.
You simply can't get the information into the brain fast enough. To the previous point, you've got to teach an artificial intelligence like it is an infant. So you and I will see a cat and we'll immediately know it's a cat. But try that with a 2-day-old infant.
Yeah.
You'll have to show them that cat several hundred times before they get the concept that it is an animal, it is a feline, it has fur, it meows.
Right.
We have to do this with AIs. We're training babies in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So how well we can train them and how quickly they can become effective for us is directly driven by how fast can we feed the data. And I want to kind of introduce a new concept. It's not new, but it's a different terminology. Storage historically has this connotation of we put stuff in it, we close the door, that's it.
Right.
The truth of the matter is the data service component of an IT architecture, what we would think of as storage, is actually where the rubber meets the road. It is the equivalent of tires on a car. A car doesn't go anywhere without them. It doesn't matter how good the driver is, doesn't matter how beautifully engineered the car is. If it can't connect to the road, it goes nowhere. Yeah. So the data service piece, the storage piece, is what connects the data to the processing architecture. If we can deliver data at speed, we get much faster results with our analytics, with our artificial intelligence, with our insights, and that's really what it's all about.
So the storage needs speed in order to be effective, in order to support AI solutions.
Yeah.
All right, so how does Pure Storage play into all of that?
So I want to say this is sort of like everything old is new again, right? Artificial intelligence is not a new concept, and I am thrilled to see one of my mentors and early influences, Dr. Cott, in this room. He is the father of a program called RAID at DARPA that I was exposed to early on. Flash memory is not new. It was patented and invented in 1982.
Which is what Pure Storage
Right.
is
Well,
technology.
it became the commodity storage class memory that's generally commercially, industrially available today.
Yeah.
AI is not new. Networks aren't new. Samuel F.B. Morse invented the first digital network.
Yeah.
We're just doing the same things. The only thing that's changed is volume, velocity, and variety of the dots and dashes. So hard drive existed to give us capacity. Hard drives did for a while meet our speed requirements, but our networks and our compute components became much faster. Storage stayed the same because memory was very expensive. When memory became cheap, because of these, suddenly we could make storage class memory systems that could keep up with the data rate requests from compute and networking. And that's actually what I call the class of 2008 and 2009, Pure Storage, Violin Memory, Skyera, any number of different companies came to be.
So I guess what I'm gathering from
Yes.
this is that Pure Storage is put a stake in the ground that they want to be the de facto standard storage for AI.
We did, and we have. And we've really built a storage platform that addressed some of the very unique requirements of artificial intelligence systems and big data analytics systems. When you have 10,000 cores asking for one piece of information from the storage system, it will bring it to its knees. So you have to engineer a system that handles embarrassingly high degrees of parallelism and massive concurrency. So we did.
Yeah.
We built the world's first solid-state scale-out file and object platform to address specifically big data challenges. So what we can do now is put 20 gigabytes of throughput, 1.6 petabytes of capacity, and millions of IOPS into a 4U form factor system. So 4 rack units tall. What's that, 6 inches?
Now don't go get technical on me. I'm just a publisher. I don't know technology.
Make it fast, make it simple, make it small, make it affordable, make it simple, because data scientists like to analyze data. They don't like turning wrenches on their gear.
Let me ask you, we only have a few moments left. How does somebody get in touch with Pure Storage if they want to learn more?
Well, so it's like giving your street address back in the day, right? www.purestorage.com/bigdata.
Right.
But you're also welcome to reach out to me. My last name is P as in pure, S as in storage, A-K-I, at purestorage.com.
Did you change your name just?
No. Colin Agee's known me since I was 12 years old. He knows that there are at least a few of us running around with this funny last name. Actually, speaking of former White House officials, my cousin Jen Psaki was the former White House Director of Communications and State Department spokesperson. So I hope some of you have seen how you spell that really weird name and how to pronounce it.
Well,
So
thank you so much for supporting this. We certainly appreciate it. Thank you.